Did we need to formally open, or are we okay?
I will formally open it at 5:35.
Okay.
So go ahead and proceed, Ken.
All right. Good evening, folks. Thanks for coming out tonight to our virtual meeting. I love getting to update you all on the work that Eric and I are doing, to help assist with your open space and recreation plan. Since the last meeting, and I shared with Ed and he shared with you all, basically an updated sections 1 through 4 based on comments. So I'll just quickly go down what we've been able to accomplish since the last meeting. Sections 1 through 4, based on the comments received at the last meeting. Eric is continuing to maneuver through section 5, understanding that we had the assessor's data that helped with the section, as well as Mass GIS and some of the data collection that we have to do through that, and just formalizing it and putting into a format that is required under the open space plan workbook, which we model our plan off of. I gave you new sections, sections 6 and 7. 6, again, it's minimal because 6 is the community component, and literally subsection A of that section was already explained in section 2 of the planning process. We do have to come up with some sort of statement as a committee, as a group, and maybe we can glean off of the goals and strategies that the committee has identified, the town has identified, and can come up with some language and can help with that conversation. Section 8 and 9, we briefly went, or we didn't briefly, we went through that spreadsheet. Does someone know? I have someone waiting in the waiting room with the name Eraserhead. Do you know who that is?
Who?
The name is Eraserhead, and I'm afraid of any Zoom bombers coming in.
No, don't know
it
that
wouldn't
one.
be. It wouldn't be Rini. It wouldn't be Cindy.
You have Jim Walunas is on.
Okay.
And there's someone also from Paul, isn't he on?
Paul Fargo?
Yeah.
Well, I'll let this person in because it is an open meeting. So
yeah.
If, I hope this is not a Zoom bomber. I guess that's what my hope is.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no, it's not. Thanks. So, Cindy, before I let you in, it was one of those things where I saw your name. It said Eraserhead. And I said, hopefully this is not a Zoom bomber.
That was my granddaughter. She did a Zoom free online class on doing anime and manga today, and I didn't know that would show up as her name. Holy cow.
So if you don't mind, Cindy, I'm just gonna put your name in there.
Well, that's crazy. I got to find out because, yeah, it still says Eraserhead. How do I do that?
I just changed it for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to go to yoga and be a Eraserhead.
So Cindy, I was just telling the committee on what Eric and I have accomplished and talked through since the last meeting. I was talking about section 8 and 9 being something that we could discuss today, understanding that there were some changes where, some suggested changes. Maybe we can walk through those before we commit to creating the narrative and, just filling out the necessary components of those sections. Section 9 is your 7-year action plan, which is a rehash of the goals and strategies, but we want to make sure that the proper authorities and the committees that would be responsible for implementing those goals and strategies are identified correctly, and revisit what currently is in the plan. And
Okay.
knowing that the Open Space Committee is a new committee within the town, identifying the tasks that could be listed under there. So that was a brief description of some of the work that has been done in the past almost 10 days, 11 days. As I mentioned, I think at the last meeting, we are trying to use all the momentum that we can to get you a final plan. I will say I'm going to be sending Ed an amendment to the contract, because it did say June 30th. We're not going to finish the plan by then. So we'll keep continuing as much as the committee wants to schedule these bi-weekly meetings to get the work done. It does require a public hearing with the planning board. We can discuss how that works. If Cindy would be the appropriate representative, and I, myself and or Eric can attend that meeting too, just to kind of walk through that. But I think those are goalposts that we can meet as soon as we're more comfortable with finalizing the draft.
Can I insert something here right
Sure.
now, just in terms of the timing on that? The Stormwater Coding Committee, Patty and company,
Yep.
they're doing the July meeting, and the planning board only historically meets once a month in the summer.
That's
So
fine.
so we probably should try to zoom in on the August meeting if you want to try to
Yeah.
hold a place
I
there.
think that would be a good goal to have. I foresee maybe one or two more committee meetings to kind of finesse through this. Obviously, Eric and I have our work cut out for us as far as working on Section 5 and getting that to the format that we need to. The data from that obviously is then now, the data that we have collected, because that is all your new protected lands and any new information that went to the state, shows what you've accomplished since 2012. So we want to make sure that, where we need to update within the actual plan, how we aggregate some of the protected lands, and you probably see where there's yellow throughout the plan. Those are kind of notes for Eric and I to fill in the blanks there.
Okay.
Thank you, Cindy. I think working towards an August, towards an August planning board hearing is probably an appropriate goal, I think, and one that can be accomplished. From there, obviously, we send it off for review. Assuming that there's nothing, then it's adopted. And I'll have to review with Emily. I believe it's also adopted by the select board. But yeah, so that's, I think, the kind of the process going forward with regards to how we can utilize and efficiently finish the plan, knowing that we want to do it this summer, and we have a goal there. So the agenda states going through sections 1 through 4. I know that I didn't give ample time per se to review the documents, but again, I think with 1 through 4, there were minimal changes since the last time. We obviously refined certain sections, addressed some changes that were suggested at the last meeting, and hopefully those are included within this. I think we can talk about possibly maybe if no one is prepared to talk about it, schedule that for the following meeting, just to ensure the efficiency of this meeting. Yes, Brittany.
I have a couple comments, just edits, and then a question or two on those first sections. Is this
Okay.
a good time to bring those up?
Yeah, I think that's a great time.
Okay, so section 6 and section 2 disagree on the number of people that took the survey by about 20
I
people-
noticed that
Okay.
because so I've been basing a lot of the comments with regards to the community meeting on 2 different PowerPoints, and I think Emily had prepared 2, one like maybe early on and then one the day before the meeting, which had an updated number. So I'll make sure that those are consistent. So that's section 6 and section 2.
Great. Then the next one is section 3, and you guys can tell me if I'm totally off base here. I'm uncomfortable with just throwing out the word Indian. Maybe we can say the Potomka, I can't even say it, but the people who lived here, the specific tribe that was here. I think that that's more PC these days. It's just
Okay.
specifically.
Let me, I'm gonna open that and we can look
That's it, sorry.
and see where that is and maybe come up with some language that may be more appropriate.
Indigenous Americans?
Like, it's okay. The American Indian, like that's an accepted term, that's fine. But then we just keep saying, like we never say who was here. You know, that covers just such a broad, it doesn't really, I don't think it honors the people who were here before we were very well.
Where is that?
You go up a little bit, said Nonotuck Indians.
It's the section B.
Yeah, so I think this, oh, Nonotuck Indians.
And if everyone's okay with that being enough, then I am too. I just wanted to ask the question.
How about Nonotuck people?
But weren't they the Nonotuck Indians? What's wrong? I don't see what's wrong with that.
So we have 2 instances where we talk about the Nonotuck Indians on this page, and then on the following page, we refer to just Indians and the Indian social structure. So that's 3.5. It's the second line under the map, or local Indians. So, I mean, I've seen it as the Nonotuck people, as Cindy suggested. Yeah. If there's any other language that, you know, maybe more comfortable.
I know that there are times when we people, Europeans, we have taken on words and names, and we have discovered over time, we didn't mean to be offensive, but we found out that we are offensive. And once we learn that, and I think this is one of those cases, I a long time ago had a patient who corrected me because I referred to, he was an active American Indian, and I said it wrong. And I feel that Brittany's raising a very important point. Once we understand that something is offensive, we don't say, well, yeah, but we've always done that, because we actually are the ones that use those words, not the original people. So I'm proposing we use Nonotuck people. And as far as the other one where we're just referring to Indians, where's that section?
Let me just change it on here, Cindy. I'll put it in red.
Thanks, Cindy. You said it perfectly.
Oh, I did? That's the only thing today I've done perfectly.
But should people be a capital P? No.
No, I think it's small case. P.
Okay.
Yeah, and then where's the other one?
It's the first sentence on 3.5.
The region,
And
I
the
get it.
second sentence, it was all over there.
the local indigenous people. That's what I would write. The region's earliest entrepreneurs and local indigenous people. Because Indians is, I think this is the one that's more offensive, actually.
I agree.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Nonotuck Indians were a tribe, so, you know, I have the same connotation about just referring to local Indians or Indians as being more offensive in my own mind.
So the reason we named them Indians is because we thought we didn't know that Columbus didn't know that he had reached a new country. He thought he'd got to Asia. So he thought he got to India, which is ridiculous. So we embraced this idea of Indians, which is wrong. So indigenous people is probably more politically correct. Does that work for you, Brittany?
Yeah, I like it.
And so the second sentence now reads, the industry had a profound and devastating impact on the region's ecological stability and on the local indigenous people's social structure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good note. And I guess wherever else, Indian appears, and I'll just use that language.
Hey,
Sounds good.
Any other comments, Brittany?
no, those were the two other than things that like maybe spell check will catch, but
Okay.
it looked really good.
Okay.
Especially since we saw the first, like what we first got when we first joined the committee. It looks great.
I will say, and maybe Cindy can shine some light on this.